Yeah.
Okay. All right, so we're going to look at the SIFRA Tzniuta, the first thing we're going to do here. Let's see how we can go through this. We're on page Taf Reich Sadi Tes. Okay, and we're reading the the part of the Rashbi that we're saying is in this letter Vav. Vav is patcha ba'achra. Okay, so now we're going to look over number bet, and we're going to see the Or YOCHAI. The Or YOCHAI has lots of things here, but I don't know if they all can put it together. It's difficult. So Reba Or YOCHAI lo v'lev Risham sheharik kam lefi darko. And what does he say? The init is patcha ba'achra. What does that phrase mean? Hainu, that refers actually to the concept called a milui. A milui, the os b'mevata. The way you say it, it actually comes out with another letter. So that's the opens in another letter, another place. That's the concept that the hey is actually two heys. Hey. The os b'mevata keyotzebo. Of course, right away I have a problem in thinking about the hey. I don't hear another hey there. But he says, they're saying, right? It's two heys. Kagon hey ein sham v'lezecha v'pirish kam inyan vav. So we do the same thing. Is patach ba'achra also the one vav leads to the next vav. The mifui os vav who gam came os vav. That's what he says at Pshat. It opens it up in another place. So what's this? That you go towards my beloved, the Mesharim. So what's the beloved here? The Milui Oz Vav Hu B'Yosher. So he says that what it is that the Milui of the Vav is in Yosher. Yosher means from the top to the bottom, I think. But Uma's Milui Oz Hey were corresponding to the Oz Hey. Ki Oz Hey Efsher She Hey B'Milui Aleph Kazeh. Now let's just read it again just to see what did he say actually. The directions in the Or YOCHAI are sometimes confusing. He said because the os hey after shehia could have another letter, it could be something different. So what does that mean? Let me try it again. I'm sorry. Holach the dodi the mesharm the milui os vav hu b'yosher. It comes right after it. I don't go straight to it. Lumas milui os hey. He says ki os hey after shehia b'milui aleph gazeh. So it's not a straight line. It could be changed. Like this, hey, aleph, besod, harucha shehu b'bechinas aleph. Now here's a new idea. He says this concept, I don't know what to do with it. He says, besod, harucha shehu b'bechinas aleph. So that's a fact, he says, that the ruach is the aspect of an aleph. So here you change the hey to a hey, from a hey to a hey aleph. Osios pella, and it makes the words pella. That's an aleph. So what does that do for me, all of these ideas? Ela behis pashtus harucha b'chotim, but what he says like this, it says, as the ruach that we're talking about, which he says is this letter aleph. B'chotim ozn asis hey b'milui. When that happens and it spreads like that, it makes itself into the milui like this hey. Nimsa oz hey ashniya, so it comes out like this, that when you say the hey, you start to try to spell them out or something. I don't know how you do this. Hashniya, the chotim, enem is pashat b'yosher, it doesn't go straight. Mina oz hey rishona. Now this is, I'm not sure I can picture this, I'm not sure what he's saying. He says, Elam is akem dechidach of the milui aleph, but it twists itself around to begin with into a different kind of milui, different milui, which is this milui aleph, which he said refers to the ruach that's going in there. I'm not sure what that means. And then after that, it goes back to the milui of hay. I'm not sure what this means. So he wants to say that it. I guess I could put an answer on that. It starts out as a hey, but when it actually gets into the nose, what's really coming through the nose is this ruach. And so subsequently he says that the hey, the second hey, changes into a hey aleph because of the dominance of this ruach which is coming through the nose. But then the last thing he said, ve'ena mispasha b'yosher mina oz rishona, ela misakem dechilo the milui aleph, but it twists itself around into the milui of aleph. I don't okay, I hear it. So what he said. So he said because, but then it goes back again, and it becomes a milui of the hay. So it means to say that it has a circuitous route. He introduced the idea of this aleph as being the ruach in it, and as a result of that, it changes the second hay. But that's not the case with the vav. Hubayosher, it never goes through any changes. Ki tamid mismale ba'oz vav, because the only way you can make it a milui on it is a vav, and when you say vav, it's vav. That's the second vav, and this is the concept that we're talking about here, is the bechina of das besod butzin in the kardanusa. Now, the concept of the butzin in the kardanusa, that and the concept we have elsewhere, which is called rayo, these two things really need to be developed, to be able to understand what the butzin of the kardanusa is. And I want to pronounce it kardanisa. I'm not sure why. Maybe a little Hasidic soul in there or something, but Bezutzin is the Kardanusa. He says Shuhu Kavamida. What is the Butzin of the Kardanusa? It's the line of alignment, let's say, of measurement. Hachola Beyosher, which always goes straight, goes from the top to the bottom. Ba'ayin Sham Shecha'irich Beso, the Pasuk V'chachech Kayayin Hatoiv. Chachech is Lashon Chech, like palate. Kiyayin atov, like a good wine. Cholich the doide, the mesharim, it goes to my beloved, the mesharim. Somewhere in here, he has a definition of dodi. I think it means zeranpin, but I can't remember. Ubir sham, so there's a number Kof test which has an orichas on this, which is also new ideas or lots of different things, so we'll see if we can look at it. Bir Sham Od Inyan Babotzin of the Kardanusa and the Makasi Pischa. Now here's a new idea. He says that the Botzin of the Kardanusa covers up the opening. What does that mean? He says Ki HaPeh HaElyon. Let's talk about the mouth of Erich Anpin. Hu HaPesach Lahotzi HaOsius Lachutz. This is where the origin of the formation, I guess, or the sound, or whatever it would be, of the Osius goes out. So his pashtas das, and this again, he says it's the mouth that brings out the letters. Besod his pashtas das, and this comes through the his pashtas of the letter vav, which the das. V'shorish ha'osius aim osius yud kal ke vav. He says now the root of these of all letters, I guess we would say, our osius are the letters yud ke vav that are found in Keser. So that would be Chachmah Bina Das of the Keser. V'hina osa akron shel Yaakov. So the Yud Kei Vav is the Vav Shnia de Milui Vav. Now let me just read one more time. He says the last letter, when you spell these out, I guess he means when you spell them out, Yud Vav Daled K Vav Vav. So when you do the Keser V'hinecha Osa Akron Shel Vav, Shel Yud K Vav is actually the very part, the last part of it, somehow he says, is Vav Shnia de Milui Vav. Because you can't say the Vav without the second part. V'nimsa She'oz Vav Shnia Hu Siyum is Pashtus Osius Adas, and that's what it means. It means that this, when you say the last part, the last Vav, the last part, that's actually the siyum of the spread of the osius of the osius hadas that are in das. V'chein ku hasosim as Pesach is pashtus osius shebepeh. So this is therefore, since it's the final vav, the second half of the vav, the second vav is the end of the line. So therefore it closes up as Pesach is pashtus, the opening of the spread of the osius shebepeh that are going to come out of the mouth. The botzin of the kardanusa, like the word rayo, because I just see them coming together in some way. He says, botzin of the kardanusa, we say over here, the oz vav shnia, that the second vav nimdada al yadei kav hamida. It's measured out, or it is a measuring tool, or a limiting tool. He doesn't say what nimdad means, but I think he got a definition here somewhere. al yedei kav hamida hanikra butzin the gardenusa. So he says, how does this come about? Again, butzin the garden, the os vav shninim. That is, it is measured or apportioned. It's the apportioner. Kav hamida hanikra butzin the gardenusa. Lios sium, that it becomes then therefore a completion. Osius of the letters, Benimsa the Makasia Pischa, that it winds up covering over the opening. Shahal Yada Niskasa Venistam Pesach is Pashtas Osius Shivaper Ein Sham. Okay, so I could stop there, but I'm not going to. Instead, I want to try to do this little one down here, number Kaf Test in the small print. Now, over here, let me see if I can help myself out a little bit, get this closer to me. One drink here, yeah. Okay, so he says like this, a number Kaf Test, and it's a lot of new ideas here that a lot of times they get developed later on. Reba or Yaakov Sham, look over there, he said, Vav is Patach Ba'achra, Mamish os vav vav ala vav. He says motzia b'vavata another vav. Ki hey ba'etzem. Let's talk about hey be'ena motzia hey. So that's what I'm thinking, that the hey by itself, just take the leg hey. And then notice he's spelling it like this because he wants to say that that's the basic spelling of the letter hey aleph. Be'etzem eina motzia hey. It doesn't by itself. I mean, you can't hear that second hey. Shekavar yumale ba'alev shehu sod hapela. Because I don't think I understand this. Is because it's already changed. It's already changed at this point. Shekavar yumale ba'alev. It's already filled with not a second hey, but aleph. Shehu sod hapela. I don't know if this is right. Pella or hefla. The hainu rucha. So he says, what is this Pella? He says it's the Ruach. So it's filled with Ruach. There's a lot of Ruach comes through this, and it changes to Hey. Ela the Agav Urche, Nachis Hey Kedifrishna. But along the way comes down the Hey, I don't know what he means by Kefrishna. Kedifrishna is explained, Amnam Vav, Ein Lecha Vav Ba'olam Shalot Totzi Vav Shnia. Now, okay, that's a kind of contrast to what he said before, but I want to try to translate it because I didn't do so well. He says, "Ki," in the second line, he says, "Ki hey be'etzem eno motzia hey aleph." It doesn't bring out a hey, hey. I don't know, that's the way I understood. I can't hear a hey there. Why? He says, "Shekaval yumale ba'aleph," because as it's in the nose, I guess coming out there, it's already changed as a result of this ruach he talked about. Into an aleph, shehu sod hefla or pella. So what is the pella? This pella is the rucha that is full of this ruach, and so it changes. But then he says alagav orche, but along the road nachis hey gedifrishna, then the regular hey comes in. I think that's what he means. So then he said, but in the vav, ein lechav vav ba'olam shadot tetzi vav shnia, that there's no such thing as a vav that doesn't bring out another vav. Ve'ein achas yichol l'maleh b'vav, so ve'ein ata yochol l'malos vav ela b'vav. You can only do it that shnia. That's the only way you could finish it. So what's to say? There's a contrast to hey. He says, when he says, what was the phrase he used? He says that it goes akum. I think he means to say that it goes through changes. It doesn't go in a straight line, hey to hey, hey to hey, hey, or I'm not sure exactly how that would work, but it doesn't go right straight to hey, hey. Instead, it has to go to hey, aleph first. Then from Matzah Kain Glen, there's no way you could say a vav without the second vav. Moriki hamshachas havav hazos v'yosher in b'mimtziusu ikum ve'ikuv. It doesn't get twisted, and it doesn't have to be held back in any way. But along the way it goes down and it continues to spread. Behind it, so the kav hamoded hamida. Now let me read this phrase again. Hainu, that is to say, mifnei Mitzius his pashtos. I read it slightly wrong. So he says the fact or the reality is of this pashtos. So the kav hamoded through this line, which is the I forgot the word again. And moded the mida venosin shir lumido. So that's the idea. It gives boundaries to the midos. That's not the right word. He says measurements to the midos. So it defines the midos. That's what it does. That is the lower spheros. Who sod his pashtus os hazeh. That's the secret. This ability to be able to edit or refine the midos. This is the concept of this vav. V'lekach nikra v'kav v'mida, and that's the reason why it's called the line of mida, which is the line of shir, of giving a certain amount to everything, of measuring each thing out. Behind us, so the das, that is in fact the secret of das. So you learn something else about das, is that das is the kavamida, that is the origin, the shorish of the kavamida. V'inyanaka kasev v'chakech. Now, what's this lashon chakech? The hainu sod osios gichak kedifrishnu. So this is really, this word chakech really goes to the concept of gichak. What is gichak? Gichak is the what do they call it? It's not the throat. It's the chech. What's it called? I'm sorry.
The palate.
The palate. There you go. It says so. This is the concept of the palate. Now, first when I started this, I thought I could see the letters gichak and chech in chachech, but it's not exactly like that. Now listen to this. He says that the secret is like this: yispashtu acho. That's the sound that are made in the throat. Behelim, but you really can't hear them until you get to the palate. V'yotze the gichach b'chachma vadai. So we always say that the achor goes with bina, and that the chech goes with chachma, up above it. So he says achor behelim v'yotze the gichach b'chachma vadai. So it goes out there in this chachma for sure. Kayayin atov, like this beautiful wine, or this beautiful wine. Lo kashem atov. So he says, now it could have said, I guess, kashem atov. We had that phrase a lot of play, but here it says kayayin atov. What's pshat there? Lo b'shem atov she'enim izgala dahainu sod ha'chachma elyonis. So let me read again. Kashem atov she'enim izgala. It's not revealed. Dahainu sod ha'chachma elyona. Ela kiyayin atov. So I guess what he's saying, he says the only way that it appears, this chachma elyona, is like this good wine. So I'm a little confused about that. I thought we were talking about Chochmah. So let's go back, and he says, so we have the concept of this hidden Achor, which is going into the Gichach, B'Chochmah Dvadai, Kiyayin Atov, and it goes in there like this good wine. Lo Kashemen Tov, not like good oil, good wine. She'enim Izgala, which is never revealed, the Chochmah Al Yonah, that is the reveal of the Chochmah Al Yonah. He's talking about the Mochas Dima. I'm not sure what he's talking about here. Ela Kiyayin Tov. So it doesn't look like Shemen Tov, it's like Yayin Tov. Habina Al Yonah of Shehi Yotze. This is from the upper Bina Shehu Yotze, which goes out. I'm not sure translation. So there's another thing. It could have said yayin atov, but instead it says like good wine, mamish. The ilu yayin hatov, that if this good wine nashiv rucha was blown through this ruach, v'agav rucha the nafik besod hey, and because of this ruach it now comes out as a letter hey aleph. Napka os hey acheres misalemes, because there's another hey that's inside of it, but it's hidden. I'm not sure I really got all of this. She'ena be'etzem malaya, because it by itself, it doesn't have it's not malaya. Mulua shel hey, that is the mula, the hey by itself doesn't have another sound to another hey. Amnam Cholech the Dodi, the Haido Tiferes, the Mesharim. So he says, who's the Dodi? The Dodi is, it's Tiferes, and it goes down straight. Ena Ke'inyan Yud, the Lo Nafik Klal. V'lo Ke'inyan Hey, the Nafik Ba'okim V'ikuv Kedefrishna, that it goes through changes of twisting and being stopped. Ella Cholech L'Dodi the Mesharim, but instead it goes to the Dodi, which is Tiferes, straight down. Tiferes is where Das permeates and brings this Kavamida. So he says Mamish, so he said the Mesharim Mamish. Ki Orach Yesh Be'etzem Bo, so this Orach, this pass, Bo, so Orach Yesh Be'etzem Bo, Mispashet Sod his Pashtos HaKeser Ela Tiferes. So he says this path, Orach Yesh Be'etzem Bo, in its essence, again its Benemius, Mispashet Sod his Pashtos HaKeser, there spreads there the spread of Keser. And where is a Keser, which is a Penimi to everything? El Tiferes. To Tiferes, that is Vok, the Vok. The Hainu, he says, what are we talking about? Sod Kavim Soy. This is the concept of the middle line. Hanimshach Mekeser El Tiferes, which comes from Keser into Tiferes. Veinim Isakemes Ba'akumas El Ba'akuma El Keser. Let me read it again. I just got stopped there. The Hainu Sod Kavim Soy, that is the middle line. This Vav spreads the middle line. Hanimshach Mer Keser, and the middle line has an origin in Keser. El HaTiferes, and that's where it goes. So it doesn't get mixed up and go through different changes to be in Bina. Bifnei Shachabina, Behei Shrashim El Bo, excuse me, Bifnei Shachabina, Bo Shrashim Adinim, that's where you find the roots of the Dinim. So it doesn't go there. I'm a little lost there. But the Chaim Pa'amam he muchenes the kabel or hakeser pa'amim enu muchenes, and so that is sometimes it's able to receive. I think he's talking about Bina, I'm not sure. He said the kabel or hakeser pa'amim enu muchenes. Sometimes it does receive it, sometimes it's not ready. Avachal Tiferes. But when you talk about the ser, so the das, this concept of das, holding the dodi the misharim. Once it gets into vav, the vav, which is the kavamida, which is the botzin of the kardanusa, it goes straight. B'fnei shacharachmim barachmim nechsharim. For the kach, and for this reason, nimshach or hakeser the tiferes, and that's the reason he says that keser is rachmim, is what he's saying, and tiferes is rachmim, and so therefore they have a natural channel. V'oz vav motzia vav, and then you see the vav brings out the vav. Which vav? So the vav, I'm assuming that what he means is the vav of keser, that is the Yaakov of keser, brings out this other mida, which is the straight line. And whatever we can say about all the different twists that he made in this, there's lots of different kinds of ideas. We have more time. He wants to get to the idea that this is coming, this natural vav is a natural connection to the upper vav, the vav that is in Cancer. Now, many other things that he had here about it plugs up the mouth, I didn't see it connected to anything. But we'll see, there's another deep one on the other side, and we'll see that next time. Thanks for learning with me. Kol Tov.